Drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico
For 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Remember Jerry Judy? Hope you weren't playing against him in fantasy like I was last night. Broncos were able to handle it, though, because, well, being Giving Tuesday, it was nice of Jameis Winston to participate in Giving Tuesday a few hours early. 41-32, Broncos in a shootout last night. We'll get to that. We got a lot to do. Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Get through all of that. But what we do on Tuesdays is start you off with New Mexico State football. And it was a big one down at Aggie Memorial Stadium on Saturday past. The big rivalry. They play for 2 trophies down there, 2 traveling trophies. It means a lot. Aggies had a 24-14 lead at halftime, got outscored 28-11 in the second half. Turnovers will kill you, especially in rivalry games. Final score, UTEP 42, New Mexico State 35. Aggies end the season 3-9. They were 2-6 in Conference USA. And the head football coach who just finished up his first season at his alma mater is Tony Sanchez. He joins us this morning. Good morning, Tony. How you doing?
I'm good, guys. How you doing?
All right. You can't turn the ball over, man. And I know that's must have been the message, right? I mean, you just penalties, but you got to take care of the football. And when you got one dude having 2 scoop and scores, it's going to hurt you, and it's hard to overcome.
Well, when you outgain somebody by 300 yards, when you have 3 missed field goals, a punt return against you for a touchdown, 2 scoop and scores, in a game you lose by 7 points, let me tell you, there's a whole lot of reasons. So, absolutely disappointing loss. That's a game that shouldn't even have been close, and we just couldn't get out of our own way. So, again, we chewed up a lot of offensive yards, ran the ball well, we threw the ball well. The turnovers killed us.
Yeah, total yardage in that game, you had 543 yards, 298 for them. You moved the ball both on the ground, in the air, but it was turnovers, and you talked about the missed field goals, the punt return, special teams. That's got to be, and I'm not looking to harp on it, but I know it is, and I know you a little bit. That's one of those where you go home and how are you supposed to sleep, right? What do you say to those guys? Because that's the end of the season. There isn't next week to get better.
Well, quite honestly, we walk in the locker room, and I just told them, you guys know me, let's talk about the details. And, regardless of whether they're playing with us anymore or not, or end of the season or not, we walked through the details, talked about the things that got in our way, and then, we talked to the seniors a little bit, and those guys that have been here for a bunch of years, they've been to the top of the mountain and been to the bottom of it. They've showed everybody the kind of what we can achieve here. So, we really appreciate those guys. So it's always saying hard thing, but guys really appreciate and care about. And it wasn't the season we wanted. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And we got to dig in. We got to do a great job this off season in recruiting. We got to do a really good job at digging in and be more detail oriented. And we got to. Certain areas we got to drastically improve it. And if we do, a lot of those games, we had too many games that were, in question in the fourth quarter that we could have had a chance to win. And we just got to be better at closing things out.
And Coach, you mentioned the details for your team. Going into the last game of the season, rivalry game, how was just the locker room, the attitude, the mindset of your team at this point in the year?
It was great. We jumped. You just watched the way we came out and played in that game. The first possession, we're moving the ball pretty good. Quarterback gets, blindsided. And, we get a scoop and score. We're down 7. Before you could blink an eye, we're up 24-7.
Yeah.
We did fine, and we just gave one up over the top right before the half, and then we drove back down and then missed a field goal before the half. So, we were playing good football. And then early in the third quarter, we had the first 2 possessions where we drove right down and back-to-back missed field goals, and then they ended up scoring and chipping their way back in the game. But, yeah, the preparation was great. Energy was great. Guys came out and played well, and we just struggled, we just struggled down in those middle 8 minutes, the end of the first half and beginning of the second half. And that was really the difference.
Priority moving forward. Here's the end of the season. Do you start re-recruitment? I know you've been recruiting, but in today's day and age, every coach across America, whether they're in a bowl game, a playoff, or their season's over, I got to believe they're in a recruitment process with their own roster.
Yeah, I sat in the office yesterday from 8 o'clock in the morning until about 3 last night, and all we did is meet with individual players. And there's a certain group of guys you got to make sure you keep. You got your core group that special dudes that there's a lot of tampering going on, things like that. We talked to our players yesterday. They're getting hit up, but everybody's guys are. So I think we're doing a good job of it right now. I feel comfortable, I guess always a little uneasy, but you feel good about, your core group and, the guys you need to keep staying. So, we're excited about that. And then, we've got, a handful of guys that we'll sign on tomorrow, actually. So that's exciting. Last year we didn't have that opportunity. We didn't even get the job until well after the first signing day. So we're already way ahead of where we were last year, which is it's needed. It's a big thing.
Yeah, he's Tony Sanchez, New Mexico State's football coach. You talk about the recruitment process, and I don't know how you have a conversation with a guy because there's so many people in their ear, and I don't know what you're supposed to believe as a 19, 20-year-old student athlete where, hey, they'll give you a bunch of money, and the reality is, and the numbers show, roughly 30% of the guys who get into the portal don't find a place. And you got a place now. How closely do you work with the collective, the business side of it as opposed to the football side of it? Because you've got to be in the middle of that, even though theoretically you're not supposed to be.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, you have to have your collective. Our collective is doing a really good job. A-Mountain Sports, they do a really good job of, helping our guys. And let's face it, if you're at the G6 level, the old G5 level, no one's getting rich on it, and it's, but it's nice to be able to take care of some of those guys, put a couple extra bucks in their pocket, guys that are performing and, doing well, and they're good program guys. And so we're working hard on that. And I know everybody else is too. But the biggest thing that we did, and I'm sure other programs are doing, is we're tracking our guys that did leave. And, the thing about it is you look at the amount of guys that go in the portal and never go anywhere else, and then the amount of guys that go in and go somewhere else and do not have the same type of year. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I coached a young man last year in my room that was number 11 in the nation in touchdown catches, and this year had 0 catches. So it's unfortunate when you move on and all of a sudden you kind of, you kind of kill your career. So that's happened to a lot of guys. So there's a lot of schools that are recruiting for depth or promising things that they're not really coming through with. So, it's kind of uneasy when you're in a really good situation and you leave for something unknown because someone's promising things. It doesn't always work out well.
What's and maybe this varies player to player. What's more important to a young man, and whether it's that individual you're talking about, and I know it's a super general question, but I'm asking a generalization. What's more important, being 11th in the nation? What would they rather do, 11th in the nation, or have no catches but have money in their pocket?
Well, there's no young man in the world that thinks that that's going to occur. They're not told that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
They're thinking they're going in to start to have the same type of year in a different place. And just the reality is it doesn't always work out that way. The overwhelming majority of guys that we had that moved on, there's a handful of guys that, you read about and that had, successful seasons and stuff. But there's more of them that just kind of like, wow, you went from being an all-conference guy to a rotational guy, or you went from being a starting guy to a backup, or, your stats decrease, quite a bit. And, again, some guys, it worked out for. The majority of the guys it didn't. And I don't think it's just, relative to us. I think that's pretty much across the board, when you look at guys transferred. But there's none of these young men think that that's what they're walking into. They don't think that that's going to occur to them. So I think you just got to go ahead and have a couple years case study of it. Make sure you keep that, that information, and you share it to your guys as you get closer to the end of the season.
Coach, I think that case study is really interesting because right now everyone says college athletics, it's pro sports, NIL, but even pro sports players sign, 3-4 year contracts. It's almost like everyone is on a franchise tag. So just the messaging too, when you're talking with your staff about being open and honest with players, it's always important, but how much more is it now, just so everyone's on the same page?
You've got to be totally, transparent with your guys. You got to have open conversations, and heck, even in the recruiting process, I mean, heck, you bring in a really dynamic freshman, you can bring in a really good player, and you can even have that conversation like, hey, you know what, we'll take care of you the most we can, and in 2 years, if you're tearing it up and you're a big time guy, and someone comes offer you, $500,000 or $250,000, and heck, man, I'll give you a high five, and we'll go replace you, and wish you luck, and you got to be honest with you don't want that to happen, but that's reality, The biggest thing is we're kind of a screwed up model right now. You look at professional sports and they're professional organizations, and we're just not. The Raiders this year, they reached out and they talked to a free agent from the Dolphins, I believe it was, and they lost a first round draft pick and $1 million. Well, here you got guys left and right reaching out to your guys on Twitter, and social media outlets, and they're having most kids going in the portal. They're going in already having a place to land, and we have no control over that right now. There's no salary cap. There's no, you can put a guy on NIL, and at the end of the spring they decide to go back in the portal. What happened to all the money you just paid them throughout the course of the spring? It's like there's got to be some guardrails put on this thing at some point.
You mean that's why a guy goes in a portal one day and 3 hours later, look, he went through the process and has a new home? You got it. That's why that's happening? It's crazy. Who's they? I ask this question all the time, Tony. We say they got to put on guardrails. They've got to figure this thing out. I think the biggest question is we got to first figure out who the hell they is. And it might just be the SEC and the Big Ten. I don't know. But when we're sitting here in college football at whatever level, whether it's Conference USA or the SEC, I don't know who they is. It's going to reel this thing in. And I don't even know what the right answer should be anymore.
Yeah, I just think that there's been a lot of rule changes without a lot of thought, and they've all happened really, really fast, from, multiple transfers to, again, to the NIL, to, this limitation. Now they're talking about roster sizes dropping to 105. And, it's all happened really, really fast. And, you wish they'd get coaches more involved in these decisions, because at the end of the day, this game's always about players, but, coaches are usually ex-players. And most of us really care about the game, and there's a lot of decisions that are made without really having much coach input, So I just think that there needs to be a bigger discussion about, hey, how are we going to go ahead and add some integrity back to this thing, and it's a great game. You see it, the crowds are fired up, and heck, it's still a great game and a great brand. It's just becoming harder and harder, to build a roster, to maintain a roster, you just look at college football this year, and this is what I've told some of our guys. It's like, a year ago we're a 10-win team, this year we're a 3-win team, and you look at, at the end of the day, if you just peel the onion back, you look, well, we lost 38 guys in the portal and 17 starters, right? And then you look at a team like Sam Houston, who wins 3 games, and now they're, Keeler's got a new job, and he's doing a great job. You look at Colorado, who won 4 games, and this year they're 1 game away. Michigan's a national champion, and they're 6-6 this year. Florida State, you just look at how fast these things can flip in 12 months. That's why you don't panic. But at the same time, it's like, wow, man, how sustainable is that,
Yep. Hey, appreciate all the Tuesday mornings you spent with us. I know it's a weird season, especially you get into October and you're playing weekday games, but these conversations, I know they're not always fun, especially coming off of losses. But we appreciate your candor and the time that you've taken with us and with our audience, and I know they appreciate it. We'll catch up with you as the off season goes on. You got signing day tomorrow and a lot going on. But for JJ and I, we're appreciative of the time that you spent with us. Thank you for that.
You know what? I appreciate it. And, we're great. And I'm blessed to be doing what I'm doing. Coaching college football. I put on a whistle every day and I run around a football field. It's a pretty good life. So let me tell you, don't worry about me. We're doing good. So we're excited about it, excited about the off-season signing day and getting this thing rolling back to where it should be. So appreciate you guys. Again, it's been a long season, but, there's been a lot of good things too.
Appreciate you, Tony. Happy holidays to you and your family. We'll catch up with you soon.
You got it, guys. Merry Christmas.
Be well. He is Tony Sanchez, the head football coach at New Mexico State. Look, there was a lot there. And I think he says what many, if not most, football coaches across America feel, right? They're all re-recruiting their roster yesterday, whether their season's over or not.
Yeah. Even if you're going to the postseason, you're trying to figure things out. Is players going to ask for more NIL money? Who's talking to who? Everyone's talking. No one knows how to stop it. Everyone just knows it's going on, and here we are.
All right. We got so much to do. When we get back, there's a story around Lobo basketball. There's rumors around your football coach that are going all over the place. Broncos win last night, and there's breaking news this morning in the National Football League that just came down that you're going to want to hear about with a suspension and a pretty hefty suspension tied to it. So we're going to do that. We'll start you at the top when we get back. 505-246-0610 is how to get in. Hey, IPS is all around town. I know you see International Protective Service. You see their vehicles. You go to the store. They're in your neighborhood. You know who they are? International Protective Service is affordable private security company that I've trusted to watch my home for years. You've worked too hard to build what you've got. Your business, your home. Protect your family. Protect your business. Protect your home. And call IPS. They provide standing guards if you need eyes on your property around the clock. They patrol your home. They patrol your business. They install alarms, camera systems, state-of-the-art facility monitors those cameras 24/7, so it raises the level of security around your home and your business. Questions: who's watching your home when you're not there? make it the good guys, not the bad guys. 505-897-2420 is the number. 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com. IPS, making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
I'd appreciate Tony Sanchez. Look, man, JT and I have been doing this for a lot of years. This is the 17th, 16th year of a show. basically 17 football seasons that we've been doing the show. And we've covered a lot of Mondays between Lobos and the Aggies, and a lot of losses. They're never easy. And I think Tony was really good with a tough season. I appreciate him. All right, breaking news out of the NFL. Azeez Al-Shaair, the Houston Texans defender, who laid that hit on Trevor Lawrence, suspended by the National Football League 3 games, JJ. 3. He's a repeat offender. He's, I know you've seen the clips going around about all the different things that he's done and been accused of doing and been hit for. But 3 games for Azeez Al-Shaair. You good with that?
Yeah, repeat offender, hit on the quarterback, knocking the quarterback out. That was going to be a harsher one from the NFL.
Well, and this was, in many respects, the textbook hit they're trying to get out of the league. This was a launch. This was a quarterback. This was a head and neck area, and it knocked him out of – I mean, look, Trevor Lawrence may be done for the year.
Yeah, and should be at this point with the hit where they are. Don't need to force him back out there at all this year as they try to figure out what that franchise is going to be moving forward. And yes, it's stuff you can't do. And if quarterbacks, want to play that line, to me, that wasn't even a line. He was just sliding and, there's hit with a missile strike on the slide, but that's what it is. And people can complain about the softness of the game or the bang nature of it. Yeah. And you just can't hit quarterbacks. And if they take advantage of it, almost so be it. And sometimes people get so frustrated, say, well, just hit them. Well, this is the result when you just hit them.
Yeah. All right. There's a lot of stories going on. I know you saw the story last night on Channel 4 and Channel 13 on global basketball and an altercation. I want to get into that a little bit. And there's a lot of rumor around your football coach. Football Scoop is reporting that I'll give it to you the way they say it. Bronco Mendenhall amongst key figures in the Utah State coaching search. I had heard, and I know as you have, that he might have interviewed last week. That was reported somewhere. I think in the Deseret News is where that was reported last week. There's obviously familiarity there, but there's a lot of noise around that. Bronco's got a press conference scheduled for today, right? This story out of Yahoo, or there's a Deseret News story, says that the athletic director there, Diana Sabao, who, again, she's got to make, there's been a lot going on there. And when the Blake Anderson firing went down right before the season, she was a new athletic director, not very popular. And one of the big things, and I don't know that she did it as much as their former athletic director, Scott Barnes, did it, but get them into the Pac-12 was a big deal. So when she broke the pact with the Mountain West teams, that made, that she needed to do some things to make herself a little bit more palatable with the fan base up there. But she has noted that, according to the Deseret News, her preference for Utah State's next head coach is someone with head coaching experience and connections to and or familiarity with the state of Utah and everything that it entails, including the culture surrounding the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's verbatim out of the Deseret News. They're reporting that BYU's defensive coordinator, Jay Hill, was the number 1 target. So that and Jay Hill's name has been up for a lot of things, including this job, I think, 2 times ago when it was open. Hill and Utah State, according to this report, have had extensive talks. Hill has asked for financial commitments, facility upgrades, renewed NIL emphasis, operational staffing budgets, all things that it's really kind of interesting when you talk about those things. Bronco was with us yesterday and talked about that. And remember, he said, and the coaches, right? Talked about resources. And one of the things he said in there, just for the players and the coaches. This report says that as of late last week, Jay Hill and Utah State were far away from a deal. And so they reported that again, this is an interesting term. Bronco Mendenhall is the, quote, central focus for the Utah State job. Now, he's got, according to this story, a $2 million buyout going into the second year of his contract. Just watch it as it goes. I'm not telling you it's done. I'm not telling you he's out of here. I'm not, but there's a lot of smoke around him right now.
And as there is with any successful player or coach at this point in the season, there's so many moving pieces, not just at the head coach positions, but coordinators going all over the place. And you have discussion about resources, and you have to start asking yourself too, at the University of New Mexico, is where can it go? Is it better spent on trying to keep the players or the coordinators? And you have to start answering those questions.
Yeah. This is a 20-hour-old story. I'm looking for an update on it. The last sentence in the Deseret, and that's a Utah paper. For now, it appears Mendenhall might be the front runner to lead Utah State next season and into the Pac-12 to come. So that's going on. Obviously, he'll be asked that at the press conference today. So what time is that? 11:30? I think so. Richard Pitino's holding a press conference today as well. So that's out there. In a lot of places, Deseret News, Football Scoop, a lot of places. And, are you concerned? Yeah, I think that totally. And I think it's fair. There's a lot of smoke. Broncos got a lot of ties to that region. I've got, a lot of people talking about, he's preached the process and loyalty and commitment, and why would he leave after one season? And I guess the answer, if it comes down, look, what's the best situation for you? I'm not going to tell you, don't take more money, don't take a better situation. But obviously the situation in which Bronco Mendenhall finds himself today is different drastically than it was 11 and a half months ago when he took the job, right?
That is correct.
It's a new athletic director. It's a restructured league, and probably not restructured for the better, right? So the league doesn't look like it did when he signed up. I don't know, although I have inklings in how he feels about the hire of the athletic director. He was vocal on our show a week ago about his praise for David Williams, right? He doesn't really, he said he's spoken to Fernando Lobo a couple of times. How about Fernando Lobo? He starts the job yesterday. He's got to try to retain his football coach, and he's got issues going on with his basketball program right away. Welcome to being an AD.
Life of an athletic director.
Yeah. All right, I want to get into that. You saw that story break yesterday. KRQE and KOB TV both had a story regarding a alleged altercation inside the Lobo basketball program team on the road in Palm Springs. What we know, what we don't know. Richard's going to talk about that later. I'm going to guess I'm going to guess what he's going to say is there's an ongoing investigation. It's internal. We're handling it internally. But what the reports are. We'll do that. I want to hear from you. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Roadrunner Food Bank over on KKOB. But if you can, and if you feel it, you're urged to give today and to those less fortunate this holiday season. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. JJ, league play starts tomorrow for Lobo basketball, which is kind of crazy in its own right, because then it'll take a little hiatus after that. But that's what happens when you're going to play a 20-game schedule, and there's going to be all kinds of weird scheduling quirks. Lobo basketball will open up at home, the Mountain West Conference schedule, against San Jose State, and you figure that's one of those with the way they're playing. You like their chances. I'm going to guess they're going to be a double-digit favorite in that game at the Pit. San Jose State's been struggling early. They're 4-5. Tim Miles feels that they're getting a little bit better. They've won 3 in a row. They beat UTEP, UNC Greensboro, and Long Beach State after losing to Western Illinois, Pacific, and Hawaii to get started. So that'll be tomorrow out at the Pit. JJ, the story broke yesterday late afternoon, early evening about an alleged altercation between Lobo basketball players on the trip to Palm Springs. And, I always hear people talk, man, people fight. You've never been on a team and people fight. And I always wonder where the line is. What should a coach do? When does a coach get involved? Do you let guys deal with it? Do you step in before it gets out of control? What's okay? What's not okay? Right? I mean, boys will be boys kind of a thing.
Yeah, but boys will be boys. It all depends on when and where it's happening. Is it occurring in a practice setting and something happened in the course of a practice and some guys got into it, players got into it, got a little physical, moved on? Is it an off the court thing, which would change it too in that setting? So there's a lot of determining factors. So it's not as simple as just, hey, it's sports, dudes going at it. That's what they do.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of that on the social media yesterday. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Don't mess with our Lobo basketball. Okay. Family of one of the players, and it's not hard to figure out who it is. I mean, you and I, we know who it is, but they're not naming anybody, so I'll play along. But one of the families of one of the alleged victims claims that on the flight to Palm Springs, there was an issue over a seat. Basically, a scholarship athlete said, "Hey, man, you need to move." They're not moving. No. So the family claims that this player was punched on the plane, and then punched again at the hotel. Basically, the player went to the hotel room. And it says, look at the KOB story. It says the player who was allegedly punched was in a sling at the time because of shoulder injury. It's not hard, JJ, to narrow it down on this team who we're talking about. The family claims that the teammate punched him in that injured shoulder, and when he got back to Albuquerque, he had to go to the hospital and was treated. There's claims that Richard Pitino and the coaching staff didn't do anything or enough. The university put out a statement basically saying, we take the safety and well-being of our students very seriously. We're aware of the alleged incident. We're carefully reviewing and assessing all the facts, following protocols. Thank you. I will agree with the people who say, yeah, things happen in a team during a season. Yeah, stuff happens.
No question about it.
Yeah, it happens all the time. What's okay if in fact this player went to the hotel room to fight and fought a dude and went after a dude in a sling after a shoulder injury? I mean, do you have a little bit more of a problem? Because I think I probably might.
That is one of those issues between on and off the court.
Well,
the guys going at it in practice, it happens. Bumping heads, getting a little hot. But if stuff is occurring off the court and in hotel rooms, this is usually what gets people's attention about character, holding players accountable.
According to the family, and again, the player who's alleged to have been the instigator here played in both games. Okay. You and them can tell you we dealt with it internally, and the player played but that doesn't mean he's not being disciplined or you could hear, look, you got one side of the story right now, right? You got one side of the story that's out. Hey, move seats. From what I understand, and you've been on the charters more than me, are there assigned seats on the charters?
Depends on the size.
Okay. Yeah, I understand on this particular one, I had heard that they were assigned seats, but whatever. I mean, hey, I want your seat, whatever. No, I'm good. Man, move. I'm a star, you're not, kind of a thing. You're having too good of a season to let something like this derail you. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time since we've had off-court issues, right? Non-basketball stories regarding Louisville basketball, right? How hard do you got to come down on someone? Let's just say it's a guy that you're counting on, basketball-wise.
I think if any player crosses a line off the court where at that point in time it's not as easy to say, hey, boys being boys, it's a team. No, it's a different atmosphere, and you're traveling and you're off the court, hotel rooms, buses like that. No matter who it is, there's got to be some accountability.
Bronco Mendenhall said something yesterday on our show that really resonated with me, and I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't have exactly how he said it. I guess we could probably re-rack it. But he was talking about the portal and recruiting, and it came down to, character guys and growing young men. And he said, there's some places that he says, I understand it. And again, I'm paraphrasing that we're in a results driven business. You got to win, right? But character matters. Growing young men matters. And I'm not, but please do not take this as me saying Richard Pitino's not doing that, because I'm not saying that at all. But sometimes you're at a crossroad as a coach. What do you do? Right. Sometimes, and let's let this thing play out. But in a scenario where, if in fact you do have a player who might have initiated something like this, but he's key to your program, key to winning, what do you do? Right? You're walking a fine line.
Yeah, it's probably nothing that's going to be a lengthy thing, but there's got to, if something happened and whatever you just said, this is internal stuff with these programs and the university. But if someone crossed the line, then you want them to be held accountable regardless of who they are. And that's the point. Even if it's, a good player on your team or whatever star player, you're going to get more chances than other players, whether it's college athletics or professional sports, but still that's something that could sour a bunch. Yeah. Yeah. We'll watch it as it plays. Here's where this one reaches a little bit more than internal. And I'm going to tell you, because it sounds like obviously the family in question, JJ, is lawyered up and they went to the media, right? So there's something there, because once you start getting lawyers involved, and the family obviously felt that something went down, that they didn't, that their son was in, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but why do you guys can read through this? Did they feel he was in danger? Did they feel he wasn't taken care of enough? Right. But I mean, the fact that they're lawyered up and they went to the media makes me feel that this isn't something that it's just boys being boys and it's going to go away and we're going to discipline a guy. And it's fine. The fact that they've already got the lawyer and went to the media, I think tells you there's a little something more there. So, all right, 505-246-0610. You're on the phones. We're going to get to you when we get back. Emails Jeff@sportsanimалabq.com and JJ@sportsanimалabq.com. You've been to events at the Albuquerque Convention Center. You will go back to events at the Albuquerque Convention Center. Now, how about hosting an event at the Albuquerque Convention Center? If you're a party planner, you got a reception, a holiday party, a function from 10 people all the way to 20,000. Albuquerque Convention Center is your spot in the heart of downtown Albuquerque. With the diverse spaces of the Albuquerque Convention Center, they'll accommodate anything that you can imagine, from intimate meetings and gatherings to grand expos and conferences with staff, service, food, and beverage options. They go above and beyond, and your dream event becomes a reality. It's the event that everybody wants to be at. Parking adjacent. They got the parking structure right there, so that's easy for you. Easy in and out. Great food and beverage options. Their staff will take care of you. We host our teams at the Isleta New Mexico Bowl there every year. We will again this year. They take care of our guests, and they will take care of yours. Host your next event at the center of it all. It's the Albuquerque Convention Center. Visit albuquerquecc.com. You can take a look at all that they got to offer, albuquerquecc.com. And they give them a call at 505-768-4575. Area code 505-768-4575. Albuquerque Convention Center, be at the center of it all.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action Find it on ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
All right, 505-246-0610. We got to get the Broncos winning last night. 41-32. I knew Jerry Jeudy was going to go nuts, by the way. You know why? Because he's an ex-player coming back, and I was playing against him. And I was up by 13, and he'll never win again.
Yeah, if there was any Browns in the lineups, they either made you feel fantastic or crushed you on Monday Night Football.
All right, Larry, good morning. Thanks for holding here on the Sports Animal. Hi, Larry. Let me do that again. Hello, Larry.
Thanks for taking good morning, fellas. Thanks for taking my call. First, I wanted to touch on the Given Tuesday. My hat's off to 610 Sports Animal for coming alongside that. There's huge need in our community, and you guys doing this Given Tuesday just gets the message out in our community that there's really a great need for a lot of different programs. So my hat's off to you guys. Thanks for doing that, and leadership at 610. On the UNM Lobo deal, unfortunately, it's these types of actions that sometimes put division in that locker room. I think Coach Patino, he's in a tough situation. You know, we brought him in here to coach basketball, not necessarily to be a babysitter of so many different personalities. Unfortunately, that type of action, if the story is being true, as far as walking onto a plane saying, "Give me the seat," that's a little bit of entitlement. And hopefully that's not the case, but most likely it is. And for this kid, I'm not saying the kid that got hurt, he's soft, not at all. However, if he did have to go to the hospital for that type of a lookup, there's more to this story, and I think that needs to be addressed. And it's just unfortunate. You guys were talking about it a while ago when you said, what does he do? We don't know that he hasn't already addressed. He's addressed it, I'm sure. But as far as discipline goes, the one thing I will say is no player is bigger than the program. And if Coach Pagino were to bench this young man and show that his actions won't be tolerated and that it's the program first, I think that the real sports fans, they have an understanding of it, and people in leadership, they have an understanding that this coach is putting the program first above maybe what a personal desire to have this amazing player out on the court.
Yeah, Larry, let me jump in real quick. Let me jump in real quick because we got one side of the story. Yeah, and so we only know one side, and that's the alleged victim that went to the media. Right. Who did something instigate what might have happened? Was some of it made up? Was it? I don't know. I'm just telling you what's reported, and I know one side of the story. The other side of the story is going to come out.
True. I agree with that. And at the end of the day, we still have to remember that these are still young men. These student athletes are still learning. They're going to make lots of mistakes. I'm 51 and I make mistakes nonstop. So I think we need to have some grace and not have knee-jerk reactions. Like I said at the beginning of the call, it's just unfortunate that sometimes these are the type of actions that put division in the locker room. All teams go through it, and it's just a matter of how are these young men going to bounce back? How are they going to? It may make them stronger. It may actually build a friendship, and maybe that we don't know, but time will tell. So anyway, fellas, thanks for taking the call. You guys have a wonderful day.
Appreciate you, Larry. One side of the story, and I'm going to guess you're going to start to hear the other side, because the accused player has got a lawyer as well. So that's all I'm telling you. I don't know what happened for certain. I know I know one side of the story, and I know a chunk of the other side of the story. So something like, but I mean, and at some point, I'm going to guess, the names will come out. But like stuff happens, and but then if it went to the hotel, if he did go to his hotel room, that's a problem. Now, if that didn't happen, and it's alleged to have happened but didn't, that also is a problem. You got a game tomorrow.
Yes, you do. San Jose State.
Yeah, and the net rankings are out and all that stuff. So we can get into all that stuff, but wherever you want to go with it. Breaking news this morning in the National Football League. Azeez Al-Shaair, the Texans linebacker who leveled that hit on Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, that concussed him and knocked him out of the game and started that little melee. 3-game suspension as a repeat violator. That is what came down this morning from the National Football League. Jim Runyons, the NFL's Vice President of Football Operations, announced the suspension this morning. He deemed the hit unacceptable, and that, this is a quote now, his continued disregard for rules governing player safety will not be tolerated. So it's what you were talking about, JJ. It's a repeat offender. Quote, you're involved in a play the NFL considers unacceptable and a serious violation of playing rules. Video shows you striking the head neck area of the Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence. After he clearly goes down on feet first slide, you led with your forearm and helmet and delivered a forceful blow to the head and neck area of your opponent when you had time to space and avoid such contact. End quote. Pretty clear, huh?
Pretty clear.
All right, 505-246-0610. Bronco fan, you can get in on what happened last night. I mean, Monday Night Football, we're an hour in, and maybe we should address a local regional team with a nice victory last night. Your quarterback's pretty good, dude. Like, how
He
about
got by last night.
Yeah. Jameis threw you a few, too. Giving Tuesday. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Years running. It's the OD and the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Giving Tuesday. You'll hear about it all day. Giving Tuesday. We're taking part in that as well. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Glad you're with us. We encourage you to consider Charlie 5. Go to charlie5.org and learn all about Charlie 5 and what they're doing in our community and what you can do to help them or whomever it is. There's Roadrunner Food Bank, Toys for Tots, Special Olympics, whoever it is, if you consider giving, if you can. It's the opening drive, 505-246-0610. Got into the Louisville basketball accusations and the story that broke last night about an alleged altercation on the trip. You can get in on that. The story coming out of Utah, the Deseret News is saying, how did I phrase that at the very end, JJ? And I don't want to paraphrase that one. I want to read the story in the Deseret News from yesterday. Is Bronco Mendenhall might be the front runner for the Utah State job. And again, I take that for what it's worth. Bronco is scheduled to do a press conference here in Albuquerque 11:30 today. So we'll keep you up to date on that. And JJ, you were just saying, man, that's one of those where Louisville football, you've got some hope. You've got something to really grasp onto. You were, 8 points away. What was the final score the other night?
38-30.
Yeah, you were 8 points away from a bowl game, or 9 points away, or you can even say closer as you look at other games throughout the season. You feel like you're on the right path, and to get 1 year and be one and done, and Utah State, you're like Utah State. Well, there'd be some familiarity for Bronco. He's from that state, and that's a team that is going to the pack, and you're not.
It's already hard enough. We know how hard it is to get people to buy in, to think that Louisville football can be something, and you get that buy-in. You have a head coach that preaches earn not given, has people following, has players getting to the cusp of bowl eligibility in a year that it was just so much unknown. It would be one of those things that it would be so hard to resell.
Yeah.
Hope back to Louisville fans.
Yeah. All right. Monday Night Football last night, Broncos 41-32 over the Browns. Boy, if you have Jerry Jeudy on your fantasy team, good for you. If you played against him like I did, I mean, what the hell? The former Bronco came back and put up a number. I mean, a bunch of them, in fact. I'm trying to look at what's he worth. Like in this league, he was worth 1 million points. I mean, like literally 1 million. 9 catches, 235 yards, a touchdown. But they lost. Jameis Winston threw for 400. JJ,
please, Lord, stop.
Dude threw
pick sixes, please.
The dude threw for almost 500 yards and 4 touchdowns.
It's crazy.
And lost because he threw 3 interceptions.
He threw more touchdown passes to the Broncos than Bo Nix did.
Yeah, Bo Nix threw 1. But Bo Nix only 2 interceptions, 294 yards for him. Broncos were outgained. Again, stats don't tell the story. It's like we're talking about the Aggie game, right? 530
it's turnovers.
Something. I mean, it's turnovers.
It's the full Jameis Winston experience. It's like you love just watching the energy, the fire. You're like, man, this dude can sling it. Threw it 58 times. Yeah, 58 slings it to the other team far too often, all the time.
All right, 505-246-0610. Travis, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Whoa, hello, Travis.
Good morning, fellas.
What's happening?
Well, looking forward to Black Tuesday coming up here real soon. A lot of coaches are gonna be like kings during the French Revolution. They're gonna get their heads chopped off. I'm telling you. So that will be a lot of fun. Give it a couple more weeks and.
That's fun to you.
4 more weeks, but it'll be pretty exciting. But in any event, no one cares about your fantasy football team except for you. I know the rule. But similar to you, Jeff, I went in last night leading. I think I was up like 14 points. But I made the stupid mistake of not playing Thielen, not playing E.J. Moore, but instead playing Vila of the Broncos. And the other guy just happened to have Cortland Sutton. So I'll be out of my fantasy football playoffs. So no $1,000 for me this season. It's one of those things. That's how it goes.
Yep.
But I really wanted to get in on this we'll call it a developing story. Well, I guess there's two kind of developing stories with Lobo Athletics. First, very briefly on the Bronco story, Bronco Mendenhall story. Look, when I called in last week, I told you guys it didn't matter whether or not they beat Hawaii or not. I thought the season was a tremendous success. Yep. They got a win against a ranked opponent, which has not happened around here in decades. And the records that they were breaking with the 50-point burgers that they were dropping on people was pretty historic as well. So and to show how much of a success Broncos season has been, his name is coming up all over the place. I'm surprised Trump hasn't flagged him to be one of his cabinet picks. So that shows how successful his season has been, regardless of us being not being bowl eligible. But obviously we all want him to stick around. We think he's the future. But if he ends up leaving, it will be a testament to the success that he's had here. So bad feelings aside, that ultimately is a reflection of that. Now, on the basketball story, this is a really, really quick point. Lobo fans, I have seen you on Twitter and on social media saying that this is a nothing burger, that this is not a story, that there's nothing to report here. You cannot slam the little brother from the South for every little mistake or rumor coming out of their program. And then when you have an altercation between two players, that sounds like it happened at separate locations, say that it's a nothing burger. There is absolutely a story here. Now, I don't know enough about it to opine on the actual story itself and whether players should get suspended or not, but it's obviously serious given that both sides have attorneys. Being an attorney myself, I only get involved in cases where there is something serious going on or the threat of something serious going on. So this is absolutely a story, and I know as this story develops, we're going to learn more about it. And my only hope is that we are able to, restrict the impact of whatever happened in this incident on the rest of the team and the rest of the season, so that it doesn't burden the rest of the team and the rest of our season. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
All right. Bible, again, one side of the story, and the other side, whatever it is will come out, and then the truth will probably be somewhere in the middle. But that's what's out there right now, and lawyers are getting involved. So, Mike, good morning. Hello, Mike.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for taking my call, man. Shout out to that last caller. Great call. So I want to make a couple of points. First off, I want to talk about that linebacker for the Texans, right? That put in that shot on Trevor Lawrence. Of course, when everybody watches that, oh my God, it's so violent. The game has really changed. Obviously, now we're protecting the quarterback in a very specific way, much more than we protect anybody else. But having been a college football player myself all the way through, dude, I'm just saying it's freaking so hard to turn it off. As a defensive player, I played defense. It's just so hard to turn it off right in that moment, especially in a rivalry game. So it's to all come down. I mean, I get it, but it's a violent game. Yep. And I think stuff like that happens, and I think it's a much bigger overreaction to that hit than is necessary. Trevor Lawrence is the number one pick. He's getting paid lots of money. Dude, that's the risk you take. Secondly, I want to talk about the Browns and the Cowboys and what I think about them. These two teams are both examples of, in my opinion, the quarterback getting all this money, who's the focal point of the franchise. When that dude goes down, what happens when you see with the Browns is that wasn't a good guy, and the team rallies. You're seeing production from everywhere. Same thing with the Cowboys, except for it's even bigger. You have Dak going out, and then you got CD, who's acting total B diva on the sideline, and the truth of it is they don't need him. They all rallied together, brought up, played so hard. You're seeing guys making plays coming from all over, all angles, and, stepping up as a team without their leaders. And I thought that was a pretty big kind of a realization point that, man, you don't need these big giant stars. The Cowboys definitely, I don't say they don't need Dak. They could be better off with anybody. But same thing with the Browns. And my last point, man, how about the Irish putting out the exclamation point on USC and getting into the playoffs? Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
I appreciate you. Look, it's hard. And I think these rules have been in play long enough now, right? Where it is a defensive player, no matter what level you are, you know what you can and can't do. Now, you're going full speed trying to make a tackle, a guy slides. You've got to pull off in an instant. And this was a lot of the conversation on social media the other day, right? Where he slid late, dude's coming in hard. This an instance, I mean,
that's when he was going to hit Trevor Lawrence regardless.
You don't have to lead with your forehand arm and go at his head. You don't.
Well, you talk about it all the time. It's a moving target.
Yeah, your head's got to go somewhere. I know.
And it's either you're leading with your helmet, your forearm, or your shoulder.
And it's hard. And what Mike said, man, I mean, you're going full speed. He's going full speed. You go one way, you think you're maybe getting out of the way. He puts his head there, head's hit.
And pretty much what they're telling you is if the quarterback's going to deke you out, let him deke you out. Yeah. And so there's that thing. And when quarterbacks do that, you have people screaming, "Oh, they can't do that shit. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. Hit him." Well, then you hit him.
Let me ask
and
you
then
this.
People are screaming.
Should the quarterback deke be then illegal? Should they litigate that out of the game?
And then if you're a quarterback too, what if you are actually going for that extra yard and you're like, oh, I'm trying to juke. And
right,
like,
because it's fourth down, the game's on the line. Right, I know. What do you do?
So
I know. Like this stuff is going to happen because, as Mike just said, it's a violent game. And you're not going to...
The way I look at it is he was going to hit Trevor Lawrence, took him out.
You don't think there was some extra to this one?
No, I think he just saw a quarterback and he's like, I'm going to blow him up. And then he started sliding. He's like, well, here we are. Boom. Took a 3-game suspension, and there you go.
I mean, you think that arm had to go right to the head and neck like that?
Well, it's a moving target.
It is.
Like he's sliding down, and the dude is already full speed, mind made up. He's hitting this guy.
He was going to hit the guy. Yeah. No, I have no doubt about that. All right, 505-246-0610. Gift giving season's here. You want that wow gift? Maybe it's an anniversary gift, an engagement ring. John Thomas Jewelers is your spot, located in the Lewis University building, 3rd floor, right across the street from the mall on Louisiana, just south of Manal. You got to want to get there. It's right across the street, but when you get there, you're going to realize why they're America's coolest jewelry store by In-Store Magazine. It's a different spot now. And you go in there, and it's a wow experience. They got over 3,000 ladies and men's bridal rings on hand just for you to see and try on. You got the only free lifetime nationwide warranty in Albuquerque. And what they've got there is the ability to custom make any ring or whatever. He was showing me, somebody sent him a picture one time, and he made a pendant out of that leaf. And their design center's bonkers. Like what they can do there, the art that they create, it's right on premises. They don't have to send it out of state to create whatever it is you want. So whether you're looking for an engagement ring or an anniversary gift, or you're shopping for the Christmas present she'll never forget, you've got to stop by John Thomas Jewelers. You'll see why they're the only 5-star Google-rated full-service jewelry store in town, the fastest-growing jeweler in New Mexico for 3 straight years, and they've been voted best jeweler in Albuquerque for 4 straight years. So many reasons to see for yourself why John Thomas Jewelers is the best jeweler in Albuquerque. Visit them on Louisiana, 1 block south of Manal, 3rd floor of the Lewis University building. Go to johnthomasjewelers.com and you'll see it all there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro Beef. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Suspended by the NFL for 3 games. 3 games. For the hit that he leveled on Trevor Lawrence on Sunday. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. 505-246-0610. So Browns and Broncos last night, 41-32. You have the over on that one? Over 70 points. I mean, it was 73. Jameis Winston set some records last night. All right. And I don't know if he's good on it, but so with the 497 yards passing, Jameis becomes the record holder for passing yards by a quarterback who also threw at least 2 pick sixes in the same game. Kyle Orton, hold that. Old neckbeard, Kyle Orton. Remember him? In 2009, he threw for 431 yards and 2 pick sixes. Who finds these records?
You just got to sit down and go through all the box scores.
Damn, research is good, huh? If you include the 171-yard interception return yards, which you don't, then he had 668 yards passing. Which, by the way, that also is the most combined of any quarterback in a single game in NFL history. So that's 2 records for Jameis. But we're not done, boys and girls. Oh, no. We're not done. 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So not only did he make NFL history, he made franchise history. Did Jameis last night. He bests Josh McCown's Browns record for passing yards in a game. Josh McCown threw for 457 back in 2015. It stood for 9 years. So Jameis now has the Browns record for most yards passing in a game. Jameis also, JJ, is the first player since 2019 with at least 450 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and 3 interceptions in the same game. You know who the last guy to pull that off was? Jameis Winston.
Jameis
did it 5 years ago when he was with the Buccaneers. 450-plus yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Monday Night history. It's the second highest passing total in Monday Night Football, behind Tom Brady, who threw for 517 back in 2011. Jerry Jeudy made some history. The former Broncos receiver had 235 yards in receiving yards. That gives him the record in the NFL for most receiving yards by a player against his former team. Record-setting night. What do we call that place now? It's not Invesco. It's not Mile High. What the hell is it? Empower? Is that what it is? Empower Mile High Field. Whatever the hell it is. What a night, huh? 505-246-0610. Set some records. Hello, Sean. You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm surprised that there hasn't been more discussion surrounding the Lobo basketball incident. Let me preface this and give a disclaimer by saying there are obviously levels to wrongdoing, and all wrongdoing is bad. However, when NMSU was going through something, everybody was calling in. They wanted their pound of flesh. They wanted answers. They wanted Mario Mocha to say anything. They're hiding behind lawyers. They're hiding behind FERPA. Now that there's an incident at UNM, it's hey, look, guys, we got to let this investigation play out. There's lawyers involved. We just don't want to, we don't want to rock the boat here. It's a nothing burger, just a little scuffle, et cetera, et cetera. All I want to just admit there's a difference there. There's a little bit of hypocrisy there.
Sean, hold on. All right. Thanks, Sean. Wasn't that exactly what Mario Mocha said the whole time? When we're letting this play out, Mario never said anything. With all due respect.
And Sean just described what each fan base does.
Yeah,
not just Lobos and Aggies, but what every fan base does when it comes to something that happens to their team versus a rival team.
I don't know what more you once said. The story broke last night. It's coming out. Patino speaks today. So Richard's going to have a press conference. We'll be asked about this. I'm going to guess he's going to say there's an investigation going on, and I can't really talk about matters and whatever. But isn't that exactly what Mario did? Like what you're angry with UNM for doing? Isn't that what Mario did the whole time? Like with both the incident in Albuquerque when somebody ended up dead and the hazing incident where you had to shut down your program. Isn't that what NMSU, I mean, still they really haven't put out statements on it. Right? I get it. You want your pound of flesh. And I'm going to argue that if, and again, we're just hearing, I'm hearing the other side of the story this morning, and it'll all come out, I imagine. But if this was a fight between a guy and 2 or 3 guys on a team, and I'm not telling you it's good. Are we going to agree that degrees of severity, one that forced your program to shut down because hazing that turned into criminal cases for sexual assault might be, I don't know, a degree or 2 higher than this? Or, I don't know, an incident where somebody ended up dead.
Guys, we've discussed this morning about ultimately, too, what comes down, it's accountability for the players, and you still have to have character in your program. And I think it's just coming out, just taking a step back, looking at it. And I guess Sean is, what he's saying is, well, yeah, Aggie fans can absolutely call in and start screaming the same way Lobo fans did.
Yeah,
that's not going to get anything out of these universities.
Yeah, I don't know what it is you expect right at this point from them. You got your basic template release that came out, right, and then the facts will start coming out. Tad, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Tad.
Good morning, gentlemen. Are you there?
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you guys are the best at what you do. Unfortunately, today's news, all the things you've been covering is a little. So I'm going to bring up 2 things that have nothing to do with it. JJ, I'm going to joke with.
All right, your phone's cutting out. Hey, man, you're welcome to call us back, but didn't hear anything that you said. Jeff, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Jeff.
Give me violence and give me controversy and give it to me now. Because it sells. It sells. I want more violence and I want more controversy. Anyway, so let me just get the facts of this straight. The Lobos are basically at that tournament for 72 hours, right?
I don't know, man. They went in on Wednesday. They came back. Maybe they went. They maybe went on Tuesday and they came back Friday night, whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay. So something happened on the way out there, and then maybe something happened there, and they're in the middle of a 3-game tournament, and you're supposed to come back from that trip and have all the answers to this right away, and if you don't, you're covering something up. My feeling is yeah, they know something happened, but you can't do a proper investigation when you're away from your school, letting disinterested third parties do things the way they should be doing them, and then when you come back here, it sounds like some parents got involved, and they took the lead by going to the press because we want to get out of the gate first. And I'm not saying something bad didn't happen. I'm just saying that these type of things in a university setting take a little bit of time because there's a lot of moving parts. So I highly doubt there's a cover-up. I strongly believe there's probably an investigation. And like you said, that's what Patino's probably going to say today is we're very aware of this. We're doing our internal investigation. And unfortunately, it doesn't move at the speed with which people who thrive on controversy and violence want, but we're getting it done.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess, too, the fact that there's lawyers now. I mean, everybody's lawyered up. From what I understand, the accused has a lawyer. Obviously the player who went to the media has a lawyer. Everybody, litigation scares the hell out of everybody, right?
And that's definitely not going to speed things up.
Yeah, promise. So
let it play out. But I mean, hell, as long as we can, have this in the news, then it's gonna do what it does, and that's capture people's attention. So let's just see what happens, man.
Yeah. All right. 505-246-0610. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you. You can get in as well. 505-246-0610. I got to take a break. Got a text. Can you please reset the allegations? Sure. If you'd like, and we'll do so afterwards. I've got two people just joining us asking to reset the allegations. So let's take the break and tell you what the reports are. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Brought to you by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Global basketball tomorrow night at the Pit. San Jose State will be in town. It will be a conference game. You can listen to it over on News Radio KKOB. Of course, you can go. I've been asked by 2 texters to reset the allegations. So the story broke last night. I think Channel 4 broke it first. That University of New Mexico officials confirmed that they're investigating an alleged incident involving at least 2 members of the Lobo men's basketball team. A family of a walk-on player on the Lobo basketball team has an attorney representing him, and they went to the media. And the family claims that on the trip to Palm Springs last week for the Acrisure Classic, that their player, the walk-on player, was punched by a scholarship player on the flight to Palm Springs, allegedly over where the walk-on was sitting. So, kind of one of those, hey, what are you sitting there? Move. I'm not moving. That kind of a thing. The family claims that the player was punched again by that teammate at the hotel later that day when they got to Palm Springs. The victim went to the coaching staff, according to the story, and claims that the coaching staff did nothing about what they're calling an alleged assault. Gives you an idea where this is going, right? Just this, the wording. The player who allegedly punched, or who allegedly got punched, the alleged victim, was in a sling because of a shoulder surgery, and which narrows it down. I mean, it's not hard for you to figure out who this is. The family claims that the teammate punched him in that shoulder, and when the walk-on player, the alleged victim, got back to Albuquerque, he had to be treated at the hospital. UNM's not naming the player. UNM put out a statement, we're aware of it, we're investigation, blah, blah, blah. The player who is alleged to have been the aggressor played in both games that was played in Palm Springs. That's one side of the story. The other side of the story will come out maybe today, whenever it is. So you've got one side of the story. All right. 505-246-0610. That's how you can get in today. That's where we are. All right. I got other stuff if you want to get into it. Breaking NFL story today. Azeez Al-Shaair, the linebacker for the Texans, suspended 3 games by the National Football League this morning for his hit on Trevor Lawrence. A repeat offender, and the league made it pretty clear that the repeat offender piece was part of it. You quote, this is from the NFL to the player. You were involved in a play that the NFL considers unacceptable and a serious violation of the playing rules. Video shows you striking the head neck area of Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence after he clearly goes down on a feet first slide. You led with your forearm and helmet and delivered a forceful blow to the head neck area of your opponent when you had time and space to avoid such contact. The league called it unacceptable, and that the continued disregard for rules governing player safety will not be tolerated. So there you go. Al-Shaair will appeal the suspension. Appeal the suspension. The appeals heard by officers jointly appointed by the league's Players Association: Derek Brooks, Ramon Foster, Kevin Mawai, and Jordan Nelson. All right. So there you go. Other NFL stuff today. Christian McCaffrey has been put on the injured reserve list again. So he's out for at least 4, they're saying 6 games. That's it, right?
That's the season.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Jordan Mason's joining him. So RB3 time in San Francisco.
That's Mercado. What's dude's name? What's dude's name? That everybody's gonna rush to pick up. Guarendo, Isaac Guarendo from Louisville. Isaac Guarendo. So yeah, he's out. 49ers basically will play this whole season without their star running back. Running backs, dude, as soon as you pay them. Like, it's crazy, isn't it?
Depends.
Because I guess when you're paying them, they're hovering right around that 30-year-old mark. How old is he?
McCaffrey?
Yeah.
He's under 30.
Yeah, but he's hovering, right?
Derrick Henry's looking good. Yeah. Saquon Barkley's fantastic.
Yeah. No, those 2 guys look great. Those guys look great.
As it's CMC, but his body's letting him down.
Yeah. So that's your big NFL stuff as you go into whatever week this is. 14. But yeah, Al-Shaair suspended. Broncos win last night. 41-32 was the score in Denver. Not perfect, but they found a way. Jameis handing out pick sixes. Jameis threw for 4 touchdowns and had 2 pick sixes and broke a bunch of records and lost. By the way, I guess he'd probably be a good fantasy quarterback, right? I mean, the interceptions hurt, but 500 yards is pretty nice.
Yeah. There's probably a couple matchups. You're going to the fantasy playoffs and you are going to play Jameis Winston, YOLO. Like, I don't know how you got there, but good on you. And I don't know if I'd do it against Pittsburgh because this could be the crash back.
Is that where they're going next week?
At Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Even with what we saw last week, that's Joe Burrow.
I got to find a dude. I got Lamar's on a bye, so I picked up Trevor Wilson.
The week 14 bye right before the postseason, especially if you're playing for a playoff spot and they got to scramble.
Yeah.
So you're talking, yes, you have to look at Jameis Winston. You're going to have the Will Levis conversation against Jacksonville. Like, this is where we're at this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to get one. Because Trevor Lawrence is going to be the guy. All right. A couple other things, NFL stuff. The Bears situation is so crazy. Everybody has an opinion on this, and it's either the best place to be or the worst place to be for a head coach. I kind of feel like it's a good job. I kind of feel like they gave Matt Eberflus a whole lot of rope. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's clear that if you're a franchise that doesn't have, like, Matt Eberflus wasn't an established coach, and we can point out those guys in the league. But if you're at a tipping point, a turning point in your franchise, and you're bringing in a new young quarterback, you're starting over, you can't just have an average coach hanging around. And so that was a swing and miss from the start. They've done that the last 3 times. Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, both had coaches fired after a year. This was in the first season for Caleb Williams. And then you have, of course, the president and the GM saying, "Oh, trust us. Trust us." Why?
Yeah, trust us. Yeah, I don't know why. I think it's a good. I think there's pieces there. I think there's pieces on both sides, offense and defense. If you bring in a strong-willed coach and they let him go, and this wasn't the guy, right? Matty, I was surprised he got this year, weren't you?
Yes. That's such a Bears thing to do, even with turning the corner and bringing in a rookie quarterback. This, of course, they're going to kick the tires on the hot OC candidates, but I'm thinking, familiarity, looking for some success. Think about Mike McCarthy in Chicago.
I don't hate that. Yeah, I don't hate it at all. 505-246-0610. Keep them coming today. 505-246-0610 on Giving Tuesday. Adrian's produced it on ProView Networks. You can watch the show on our Facebook page, the OD in the AM, on Xfinity Channel 26 throughout the state of New Mexico, and on the YouTube channel for ProView Networks. Hey, winter weather's coming. No better way to combat the snow and dirt than with service from On the Spot Automotive Detailing. I recommend them because they are really, really good. On the Spot Automotive Detailing is fantastic. They come to you and detail your car where it works for you, when it works for you, at your convenience, at your office, at your home, wherever. Their ceramic coating and paint protection film help prevent scratches and damage from road debris. Plus, say goodbye to that snow and dirt and water stains. Look, there's a reason they were voted best in the city. That's because they're best in the city. Keep your car looking like new this winter. Book today, and it is a terrific gift as you're looking for that great gift. It's On the Spot Automotive Detailing. Visit them online at otsdetailing.com. That's otsdetailing.com.
This report is sponsored by
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it ProView Networks.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride barbecue chicken and ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Sports Animal.
Interesting morning, man. Interesting morning. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. 505-246-0610. I gave you some reports earlier. And again, Bronco Mendenhall speaks at 11:30. It's kind of the end of the season press conference, right? Is what we're doing there. There's a report out of the Deseret News that he might be the front runner for the Utah State job. So there's some other names. Jay Hill's attached to that as well. And I don't think. And you were saying you were hearing coordinator stuff like Oklahoma State, right?
It's just, all these things are hitting the wind out there, nothing concrete. But we know that there's been loud interest in the Utah State situation, especially coming from the Aggie side.
Yeah. All right. 505-246-0610. That's the phone line and the text line. Mud sent a text. Says, Mud asks, is there zero tolerance for physical violent contact on the basketball team handbook? If so, the player needs to be disciplined and or kicked off the team, period. Hopefully the coaches will use good judgment and act on the rules of the University of New Mexico. Talking about the alleged incident with Lobo basketball, and there's an allegation from a walk-on player that he was punched both on the plane over a seat dispute and at his hotel in Palm Springs by a scholarship player. He went to the media as a lawyer. We've got one side of the story out. One. So, before you jump to conclusions, and we had the Aggie fan calling and saying, where's the outrage and where's the media frenzy? And, how come you're not treating this like the Aggie situation? And first of all, I think we treated the Aggie situation pretty fairly too. You got one side out on, how can they stand by privacy and how and that what NMSU did the whole time. The story broke about 12, 14 hours ago. And you'll hear more. I'm getting little, so are you. I know little bits of both sides of the story, and it'll be interesting. Hey, were you surprised the net rankings, by the way, came out yesterday? So San Diego State's in the poll at 23, but the net rankings for the Mountain West, which means so much as we go through this. Utah State's 14, Nevada 32, Boise State 38, San Diego State 60, New Mexico 66, then UNLV 149 and Colorado State 207. I'm not going to lie. I thought both New Mexico and San Diego State would be higher because of the schedules that they played. And I don't pretend to understand the computer rankings, but they both surprised me for being so low.
The San Diego State one is a bit surprising. I'm not surprised about New Mexico. You have one good win. Yeah, you can't just play them. You got to win those games.
So UCLA isn't a good win yet?
That's the win.
St. John's? Oh, yeah, you lost.
They
Yeah,
lost.
Sorry. And then SC was like, what I tell you, 120 something? Yeah.
So New Mexico is not surprising.
San Diego State beat 21st ranked, and I got to find the net rankings again, the Creighton. And then they beat Houston, who was right near the top. So that one surprises me. Do you see potential to change these things?
Absolutely. This is going to flip-flop all over the place. And you get more and more games on the resume.
All right, I want to go through these a little bit and what they mean and what they can mean. Limbo basketball tomorrow. JJ broke this down, though, and some key categories after 1 month of the season, and I want to get into them a little bbit. 505-246-0610. It's all open for you today. Giving Tuesday. We encourage you to consider giving if you can. We're partnering with Charlie 5. You can go to charlie5.org and see what's going on there. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Nothing says Giving Tuesday like kicking it with Kenny. Oh, that we give to you. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. We encourage you to give today on Giving Tuesday. Charlie5.org is with whom the Sports Animal is partnered, changing the lives of our nation's heroes one horse at a time. At Charlie 5, they believe in the power of horsemanship to challenge our nation's heroes to become leaders again. You can look at them at charlie5.org. That's Charlie, F-I-V-E, 5.org. But whomever it is you choose to give to, if you can, think about giving on Giving Tuesday. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, we welcome to the show the former Lobo great, 11-year NBA veteran, and now media superstar here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Kenny Thomas. Hello, Kenny Thomas.
That's you, my guy.
No, dude, that's that dude right there, man. How about what he did this weekend?
What did he do?
Oh, he flew to Hawaii.
Oh, man.
He was on the broadcast, flew back, got off a plane, went straight to the pit, and called Lobo women's basketball.
No wonder his shoulders are down in there in that booth in there.
He's put on some miles.
He's smiling right now, right? Yeah. No, he's not.
Yeah, I got it. I just got a text actually about how good you were on that broadcast.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
See,
that's what a little sand in the beach will do for you.
Man.
Just walking a Waikiki.
How long were you there for, bro?
Thursday through Saturday.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. I'm looking at going in maybe March after the Lobos.
Yeah, that's probably fair. You can't miss a show.
No.
You listen to him over on Lobo Live with Kenny Thomas after every game on News Radio KKLB. He'll be working tomorrow night.
This is why I love you, man. This is your show.
Yeah, but it's yours.
No, but it's your show, and here you are kicking it with me,
That's right.
and then you're giving me some love for my Lobo show, man.
Well, you got a big one tomorrow. League play starts tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So before we get into it, this noise, the story that comes out, allegedly a walk-on player who had shoulder surgery, was in a sling, got punched allegedly by a scholarship player, both on the plane and at the hotel. Player came home, has a lawyer. Parents went to the media. I don't know what happened. That's when I know one side of the story. You and I are hearing the other side of the story as well. Just when that stuff is in a team. Look, I know every team you've been on, somebody probably threw a punch at somebody. That happens
without a doubt.
If it spills over onto the plane, if it spills into a hotel room, is that a problem or is that just whatever, man? It happens on teams. Deal with it.
This is one of those things to where. In the heat of I'm not gonna sugarcoat this or anything at all because I don't have to, right? Man, it's one of those things. There's always conflict and confrontation to a certain extent in the locker room because you're being competitive. You want to play. Obviously, there's some passion there, right? But it's one of those things, man. I don't care who's on the plane. I don't care if media's on the plane. I don't care who's there. To a certain extent, some things need to stay in-house.
All right. So you're saying that, like your issues don't go to the plane.
What do you mean don't go to the plane?
You know, I mean, whoever's on the plane, it's not just the team. You've got boosters or you've got whoever.
Yeah.
You don't take these issues to the plane, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This stays behind closed doors. You're not supposed to do things
and
like
it was
this.
a charter, right? From everything I understand, it was a charter.
And now they get to charter. Back then, I was on commercial planes, okay? We didn't charter until we went to the NCAA tournament, right? So that's awesome. Good for them. Come on, man. Like, that team, those guys that are playing, they should have known better than to take it to the plane. Right? Like,
if in fact that's what happened.
There's certain things you just got to wait. Like, you can have your issues, you can have your problems, but they stay behind closed doors. They don't get to the point to where the media is involved. They don't get to the point to where legal issues or whatever could possibly happen. It doesn't go there.
So how much does that noise infiltrate? Whatever happened. And again, I've got one side of the story that's public. I got a league game tomorrow. You got a game tomorrow against San Jose State, who's 278th in net rankings, a team that you look at and you're like, all right, we should be able to handle that. But how much, and you've been in these situations too, how do you keep the noise out and focus?
It's tough, man.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. Come on, man. These kids are still learning. Basketball is a tool that's going to help them in life. Organization, listening to your coaches, you know what I mean? Like, all of that's going to play a big part in your life after basketball's over, because all of them are not going to go to the next level and play. It's just a fact, right? So, man, it's you got San Jose, they're picked 8th in the conference, right? And then here you are coming off of a great win. The momentum is going well. I feel like they're playing great basketball. So what's going to happen is suspensions going to come down? You know what I mean? Like
Richard talks today.
Do they all get to play? You know what I mean? So,
and again, the person who was alleged to have done this, and I keep saying alleged because we got one side of the story, did play in both of the games. Opening drive, Jeff Symbiota, JJ Buck. We're kicking it with Kenny Thomas here in studio.
And Kenny, if something happened, of course, the players, they know and they have their thoughts on the situation. You mentioned the noise from the outside, but when you do have players going at it, what, I guess, is that line for players themselves of going, okay, yeah, you guys went at it, I get it, but then when can a player go too far against his teammate?
Well, obviously, whatever's being alleged
would be
happen is already too far because, one, it's in the eyes of everybody else. It's not in the eyes of just the players, because that's one of the things that and you notice I said just players, right? Like the coaches shouldn't even be involved in this, to where who's the leaders on the squad right now? Obviously, depending on what was said and how things went, I mean, it's bad timing. It's just really crappy timing. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Well, with all of that, when you've watched this team, what have you thought about the way they've looked on the court and how they're coming together early in the year?
That's a great question. I feel like the adjustments have started to happen. I feel like Nelly is starting to learn his role. He's running the floor. Atiki's running the floor. Nelly's starting to set pick and rolls. Dent's more demanding Nelly to come set pick and rolls because he knows that's going to help him get downhill and create and get in the paint. The Lobos are amazing when they get in the paint. They're scoring over 35 points in the paint. Obviously, they got to work on free throws. Free throws have been up and down. That first game, they shot about 80%, but the last game, I think they shot around 60-something%. But I feel like they're playing great basketball right now. And BA, man, I got to give BA love. Like, he's...
You know he could get up and dunk like that?
Oh, man.
How about that finish on that break?
And then when he took off, I thought he was going to extend and lay it up. And then next thing you know, he turns that thing over.
You see Donovan Dent's reaction to that?
Oh, yeah, with his chest out. Yeah, I saw all of that, which is awesome, man. You got to hype guys up because you never know when you're going to get a chance. And I feel like that bench is going to have to come in and impact a little bit more, especially with C.J. Nolan in the starting lineup. Somebody's going to have to come in.
Well, quickly on that. So all this stuff allegedly went down on the way there. Is that correct?
It's correct.
They didn't look like a team that didn't like each other.
That's correct.
It went down on the way to
Palm Springs.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was maybe on the way back. But, yeah, you never know.
No, it was on the way there, allegedly.
Wow.
No, it's a great point, JJ.
It's a huge point.
But all right. So to JJ's point though, so whatever happened internally, they all knew about it. Is there a difference when it hits the media, social media, and gets noisy around?
Man, remember we didn't have social. I didn't have social media.
All right, but you had media and you had noise around the program.
But those people weren't in the locker room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like as soon as we walked outside that door, we act like nothing happened.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because that's internal. There's no way you go out and you open your mouth to media. There's no way you go out and you. Obviously, we all probably talked to family members back then. But you go talk to the right.
Go to the media.
No, come on. Why would you do that in the midst of a great season right now? Yeah. And it's about to flip everything. Hey, they're men. To be honest,
that's
they're
right.
over
that's
18.
Right. We call them kids, but they're men.
Handle yourself.
Yeah.
If you can't handle yourself, keep your mouth shut. And vice versa, right? And then at the same time, when things are moving forward in the positive light, and like you said, the person that allegedly did something played in both games.
Mm-hmm.
So, whoever the other person is, chill out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not pointing any fingers. I wasn't there. Some things need to stay internal. Period.
Back to the hoop side. I'm Braden Applehans coming off the bench, and you're talking about this. So in the SC game, he played 17 plus minutes and had 8 points.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 9 points. 9 points. And his free throw shooting 16 to 24 in that game for 66.7%. So they're going to have to get a little bit better there. What I was impressed in that game is I thought they rebounded with a physical team. They ran. They look like a better team than SC. Like your eyes told you that. The stats tell you that. The score told you that. And it was a 10-point game at the end because Richard went to the bench early and probably let some of that lead go. But that felt, and I don't know, JJ, you and I haven't talked about this. They felt as in control, and I was at the UCLA game. I felt like they handled both those teams convincingly.
I mean, UCLA was a team that obviously was a better shooting team, and the Lobos just came out and took them out of everything, I think. I think they disrupted a lot of different things that UCLA had going on. But when you think about the St. John's game, that was a real physical game, and I felt the Lobos still played a pretty good game. I think that's carried over to the last couple of games because I feel like the Lobos have gotten a little bit more physical. Obviously, you had a Arizona State team that was very, very athletic, and that created opportunities for Dent, especially getting in the lane. But I felt like Nelly came out and played a pretty good game. So it's going to be a lot of different opportunities that they're about to get in conference play right now.
Yeah, the USC game was one you had to have with as bad as they looked against St. Mary's. Like, you didn't want to have to go into the USC game and
how bad SC looked,
and not show what type of team you are. And I think, too, even looking at the Arizona State game, the way that they came back in it at the end of the first half, showed some good resilience after Arizona State got out there early. And I think that's what you're looking for right now from this team is that they're going to have to grind through games.
Oh, yeah. Somebody called into my show and they said, the Lobos are probably going to lose about 3 or 4 games. I'm like, man, don't put that out there because I feel like going into tomorrow's game is going to set a tone, especially with all the noise that's going on. And then the big situation with this coming Saturday with New Mexico State, I feel like that's going to be a huge game because there hasn't been a game like that in a while with everything that's been going on. But I'm really excited to see how they come out tomorrow, especially with everything.
All right, I want to get into some of the net rankings, Mountain West stuff. Tough one for the league last night. Washington State went into Reno, beat Nevada 68-57, and I know people love seeing Steve Alford get beat, but that dropped Nevada from 32 to 50-something in the net, JJ, which is a big deal, right? I mean, 32 to 57, all the way down to 57. That's a 25-point plummet to lose to Washington State at home. So I want to get into the net rankings, what some of that means. JJ's got some really good points on this. Kicking it with Kenny. He's multimedia star now. You listen to him on Lobo Live over on News Radio KKB after every Lobo game. He's with us on the Tuesdays and Fridays at 9 o'clock. We'll continue with Kenny Thomas, former Lobo great, 11-year NBA veteran and wine maker on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Dirty Boys present.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And and no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Saturday is number 242.
Okay.
I mean, you got some drag downs on this thing. So the places for the Lobos to up their net rankings, it's kind of like last year, right? You're going to have to win games in Boise and Reno and Logan or in San Diego. You're going to probably have to get 2 of those.
Yeah, and I can understand the frustration, too, coming off last season when you're 22 in the net, and then you have the selection committee say, well, if you didn't win that last game in Vegas, we wouldn't have put you in the tournament.
Yeah. And so then you think you beef up your schedule, which I think they beefed up their schedule, and they're sitting at number 66 in the net rankings right now. That's why I just don't get it. And they're up to 65.
Play them.
Yeah. I mean, the UCLA, and you want USC to mean more than it does, and you're right. You're right. So you've got to win the VCU game. You have to.
Yeah, but then when you think about last year, their schedule was not even as strong as it is this year,
that's
right?
the whole point, right?
So yeah, so I mean, with the schedule being stronger, and I feel like with them going to St. John's, isn't that gonna give them some credibility?
So it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt you losing at St. John's, but like Jay just said, you got to win games.
Yeah.
Right. You got to win games,
especially in conference.
Hey, so I found this interesting, and we played it last week. You said you want to see Nelly and Atiki play together.
Yeah.
And Richard Pitino was asked that in the press conference right the next day, JJ, and he laughed it off. He's like, well, you guys got to stop, is what he said. He said basically the offense comes to a halt if you do that.
I mean, obviously he's the coach and he knows which direction he wants to go. But
that's what's going to happen.
If you think about it, the backcourt is the offense, right? That's why CJ was inserted into the starting lineup, because they needed some offense. And I feel like Flip, hey, everybody's not a starter, right?
That's correct.
He's coming off the bench, and I feel like he's impacting the game. And obviously it might be towards the end, like that last game when he had 11 points or something like that. But the fact that he was being aggressive, that's exactly what Pitino wanted, and I think that's what he's been saying.
I think Borovichinen is going to find his role off the bench. I watch him at the end of games.
Yeah,
you see the athleticism, don't you? He's long. I'm going to tell you where I really like him, and I told you this coming out of the Vegas tournament or the UCLA game. I love him on the perimeter defensively. I love the fact that he's quick enough that he can handle an off guard and or even be on ball. Yeah. And his length is disruptive.
Yeah, and then that's exactly why I was talking about Nelly and Atiki playing together, because it adds more length, right? Yeah. And then for a second there, second chance points was a big issue when it came to the Lobos on the defensive end. So I feel like if he can come in and bring the energy, and obviously they're going to be smaller, but not that much smaller.
Yeah.
I would love to see him be able to come in and get some good quality minutes, because where's the offense going to come from the bench, right? That's one of the key components, I think.
That's why I like seeing BA have
it's been refreshing to see that for a kid who stuck it out, went through some things, came back, and he's getting his opportunity. And when you look at the ball handling outside of Zonum and Dent, what are you noticing, and just kind of the get by minutes when you have to give Dent a breather?
Yeah, that's a great point when you bring up the ball handling, right? Because obviously BA is not going to be at the point. I feel like that's where True is probably going to bring the ball up a little bit more. But if you notice, CJ's been handling the ball at the point a little bit. But when you talk about BA, the way he's been playing before the big dunk is he's been being productive by putting the ball on the floor, being aggressive, and attacking the defense and opening up other opportunities for his teammates on the perimeter. And he's been stroking the ball pretty good. And I feel like the more minutes he gets, obviously the confidence is going to grow and it's going to build.
Hey, I was just looking at the schedule, JJ. How much do teams, what we see, you win and sometimes you fall in the net. When you play a 242, a 287, a 319, even if you win, does that hurt you?
Man, this is
I say yeah.
A great question for Jerry, because I wonder, I'm trying to recall what they've adjusted in games like that and his margin of victory. I think at all. I can't remember.
I'll ask Jerry Palm on Thursday when we have him from CBS.
And it's based off of everybody else winning and losing too, right?
Well,
obviously.
Yeah, but so I was just went through the schedule and JJ, you got some high 200s and 300s. In Mexico State playing on Saturday is 242. The Grambling team that was in here the other day was 182. Texas Southern is 319 in net. USC, who you figured would be good out of the Big Ten, and USC's number will go up. Don't you think USC will end up being top 100?
Oh, yeah.
I think they were 164.
You got to win some games.
You got to win games.
100.
Nichols, 287. You beat them by 7 points. Texas A&M Corpus Christi, 140. And then in your league, JJ, right now, you got 5 teams that are 200 or worse, including one of the teams that's supposed to be really good. Colorado State at 207, Wyoming at 244, Fresno State 255, San Jose 278, and Air Force 289. I mean, there's like if you somehow drop one of those, that's a kick in the stick, right? I mean,
I think it is, but I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
When the Lobos just beat 2 Big Ten schools, how does that impact them?
Well, so beating UCLA helps, right? Because they're 16. Beating SC from the computer rankings, like for you and me and everybody else, go, all right, we'll beat a Big Ten school.
Yeah.
That feels good. The computer rankings, and JJ, hit me if I'm wrong. All right, you beat team number 164 in the net. Good for you on a neutral floor. Good.
Yeah, the schedule is going to benefit the Lobos. The challenging things, not just the games played, but dealing with the travel, going across the country, like they took a step up. And being 66 right now makes sense because you have one good win.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though you played 3 good games.
I totally agree.
So you've got to, and you want the SC game to mean more, and you hope that it will mean more as it goes on, and you got to beat VCU.
Oh, yeah. Got to beat VCU.
Right. And that's a home game. All right. 505-246-0610. Tomorrow, league games, opening up league games. New Mexico gets San Jose State. Wyoming will be in Logan to play an undefeated Utah State team who's 14 in the net. Colorado State, Loyola Marymount, and then San Diego State at Fresno State. Did you watch any of San Diego State against Houston?
No, I did not.
They were impressive. Like JJ, they're different, huh? They're long. They're always athletic, but they're big and bouncy. And I think, JJ, they score a little bit better than a lot of Aztec teams, right?
They can, but it's still, you watch them some nights and you're just like, oof. And then other nights you're like, wow. And it's just the way that program is.
They've got wins over Creighton, who is like a top. They fell down. They were ranked 23rd, but they're 90-something. They lost to Gonzaga, beat Creighton, lost to Oregon, beat Houston was number 6 in the country when they beat them. And they still have Cal left on the schedule. It was, look, again, good for the league. They were picked. San Diego State was picked 4th in the league. If that's the 4th best team in the league's going to be really good.
Oh yeah. You got Utah State, San Diego State.
How does Utah State do it all the time?
And then Air Force. Those are the ones you got to watch out for. I'm telling you.
Well, Utah State at 7-0 is the one that I'm looking at, and then you're like, all right, well, who'd they beat? Because they're JJ. This one blows my mind a little bit too. Yeah, they're 7-0. Alcorn State, Charlotte, Westminster, Montana. They got a nice win over Iowa. St. Bonaventure is a good win. North Texas is who they beat.
Hands up. I don't know.
Okay, that one baffles you too?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's like, yeah, just win games. Yeah, but yeah. All right. What do you got?
Oh, I got to give a shout out
to
Coca-Cola Santa Fe, one of my partners. They have me going to the Santo Domingo Pueblo tomorrow to talk at talk to a middle school. Catch me on my show tomorrow night after Bob and Hunter's post-game show. It's my call-in show. So 505-243-3333. You see Jeff has his number. I have my number too now.
Yeah. Good to see you. We'll talk to you on Friday.
I appreciate you, guys.
All right, thank you, Kenny.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Kenny.
Stop saying my full name.
Don't hit me on the plane, man. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Early in the season, not a lot of data points.
Yeah, it's interesting. All right, 505-246-0610 is how you get here today. How many people can name Utah State's head coach, by the way?
Not many. I got all this from Jeff Grammer's story.
Is it Jared or Gerard?
Ooh.
Calhoun. They're 7-0. They won the ESPN preseason NIT tip-off last week. Monica was there. She said they were pretty good. Ryan, our boy Ryan was there too. He was watching them. So they're 14. But it's crazy. They got no wins that are currently considered quad one. The best category of win according to the sorting done by the selection committee. And while the Aggies have 3 neutral court wins, they've yet to play a true road game. Jeff Grammer put all that together. This one's a little baffling. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Rudolph.
Good morning. Well, today the topic for me is Lobo football.
Okay.
I have an abiding interest in that and have invested a lot of time and cash in the program, and all Bronco wants is a fair shot. And I don't think he'll go to Utah State if UNM does one thing, and that is pay competitive wage to his assistants. You know, I'll never forget when I was at Michigan and Texas A&M went after Bo Schembechler, offered him $2.5 million a year, which at that time was unheard of money. And he said, I don't want it for me. I want it for my assistant coaches. And he said, I'm kind of offended that they want to pay me that money when there are professors here that don't get near that. So what he asked for is to be paid as much as the highest professor at the University of Michigan, and that's it. And I think at the time it was somewhere around $250,000. He put the rest of that money that they put up into a pot. And before Bo got there, Michigan had never had a crowd of more than 100,000. So as soon as Bo gets there and beats Ohio State, it changes. That's all I'm asking. Jeff, we're sitting on $3.9 billion in a reserve fund. It's time for the legislature to shake that money loose, and it's time for them to pony up. And we have to pay our coaches what they're worth. Jason Beck deserves double what he's making here.
Yep. That's your offensive coordinator.
All we have to do is do that. And my understanding is that the Board of Regents are on board, that they've given the president, Garnett Stokes, carte blanche to keep Bronco. You keep Bronco Mendenhall at UNM even 3 more years, Jeff. Let's say 3 more years before he rides off into the sunset, because I think it's his intention to probably coach 3 to 5 more years and then retire. He really wants to be a horse rancher up in Montana, and he certainly earned that, you know, and the guy's not greedy. All we have to do is get up to that legislature, and I'm tired of them using New Mexico against New Mexico State. Give New Mexico State money. Let's get this ball rolling. It's only going to enhance our quality of life. The most egalitarian thing there is a football stadium and a basketball arena, because anybody who gets a ticket can go in.
Who's we when you say we got to go up there? Like who's leading this charge? The session starts in about a month and a half-ish.
Well,
who's we? You got an AD who just got to New Mexico for the first time a couple days ago.
So what? Get on your hands and knees.
Yeah.
call your friend Chris Del Conte, who's friends with the governor, and get on your hands and knees and crawl your way to Santa Fe to demonstrate how committed you are to helping UNM athletics achieve a very simple goal, Jeff. And you enhance that stadium. Give $100 million to each school. It's not even a decimal point out of $3.9 billion. And people keep saying, well, I would go to the stadium if it was better. Well, make the stadium better. But the biggest thing you can do is pay the coaches. And you pay coaches, and you keep good coaches, and you get good results. It's that simple.
Make it a story for you. All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Look, I don't think he's wrong in saying if you're going to play, it's now or never on resources. JJ, you feel if Bronco leaves, this is a huge kick in the junk, and
I don't think there'll be a honeymoon period for the next coach. I don't think that there'll be renewed excitement. It will be more so than ever. Prove it, and then we might come out. Just because for Lobo fans that bought into football, that bought into earned, not given, watching what this team did offensively, going on the run to end of the season, being right there, final game of the year, playing for a bowl game, you had that buy-in. And if something were to happen, I think it would be really hard, because there was already, even with all the buzz and all the talk, like the last few games, like there was no one there. I'm wondering, it's the reaction on social media. People love this team. No one went out to the stadium. And it's going to be that much harder if you lose Bronco Mendenhall after 1 year.
All right, 505-246-0610. Text line. I'll play with that later. San Jose State has a great coach, fellas. All right. They got a good coach, Tim Miles. You think Tim Miles is a great coach? I think he's a good coach. There's a lot of good coaches out there. He's a good coach, right? He'll turn that around. I think they'll be, that's a place where, man, it's truly year to year. Because every time you get somebody good, he ends up playing at Gonzaga or at UCLA or, somewhere. Literally every time you get someone good there. All right, breaking news at the top of the show this morning was the NFL. They suspended Azeez Al-Shaair for 3 games. He's the linebacker for the Houston Texans who laid out Trevor Lawrence. 3 games on a repeat offender thing, and he's going to appeal. This is interesting this morning. Came out about a half hour ago. Tiger Woods spoke today about playing in the PGA Tour. 50, well, what is he now? He's only 48. Sorry, he's only 48. Tiger Woods said he is not close to being physically ready to play on the PGA Tour. Said he's got a long way to go before he's able to compete against the world's best golfers again. He will not play in this week's Hero World Challenge. He hosts that event in the Bahamas. This is one of those where he plays, you see, scores that win it at like 28 under, and it's always kind of like an indicator. Doesn't feel like it's been the preseason indicator on Tiger. Oh, he's out there. He played a good round. Oh, he shot a 72. Oh, he shot a 64. Right? This has been an indicator. I just don't think people ever have been able to grasp how that car accident destroyed his leg. I mean, when they say it almost got amputated, right? I unless you've been there, I don't know how you do. Quote, I'm not tournament sharp yet. No, I'm still not there. And these are 20 of the best players in the world, and I'm not sharp enough to compete against them at this level. When I'm ready to compete and play at this level, I will. That was a part of his quote. He was asked whether he still has the desire to compete on tour, which is a totally fair question. He said the fire still burns to compete. As far as the recovery process of going out there and doing it again and again and again, and doing it consistently at a high level, for some reason the body just won't recover like it used to. It's part of age and part of an athlete's journey, end quote. For some reason. Dude, you're 48. You're reconstructed back. You destroyed leg. He said, I didn't think my back was going to go like it did last year. It was quite painful throughout the end of the year, and hence I had another procedure done to alleviate the pain I had going down my leg. And so what are my commitments going forward? Is it once a month? Yeah. I could say that all over again, but I truly don't know. I'm just trying to rehab and get stronger and better and feel better and really give myself the best chance I can going into next year, end quote. This is Tiger Woods. You're going to see him in majors. Tiger's going to, there's going to be a big hoopla when he makes a putt on Thursday, and we're going, oh, Tiger's in the lead. He's 1 under, right? And then he's going to shoot a 74. And then he's going to be right around the cut line. And we're going to Tiger make, he didn't make the cut, and move forward. Oh, but Bryson played great, and Brooksy played great, and look at what Rory's doing. And then the next major is going to come, and he'll make the cut. I mean, there's like
it's the roller coaster ride of Tiger Woods that you just hope is there one moment, is there 2-3 days he can put it together, and then maybe on Sunday he'll be in contention at a big tournament. And more times than not, that's not going to be the case. But in that game, it still gives you that opportunity.
I think it'd be amazing if he's in contention at any tournament. It could be the Memorial, dude. It could be Jack's tournament, right? It could be the one he hosts at Riviera in LA, whatever that's called now, Farmers, or what do they call that one? Is it Genesis? The one right after Torrey Pines. I don't care. I mean, you and me and everybody else, if he's in contention on Sunday afternoon, are going to be inside staring at the TV. Because you want one glass. And if you're of the age where you didn't really get Tiger Woods, because I think we're far enough removed from his greatness now that there's a chunk of people who just heard about it but didn't see it, and all you see is this old guy out there flopping around. You're like, what's so great about this guy? Right? You just want a glimpse of it. And those of us who remember it and experience it, you're just looking for one more glimpse of greatness. Would it be great? I don't know. It'd be good if he won a tournament, but it'd be from the great one. Yeah. But that's what it is. So Tiger spoke today and kind of reaffirmed everything that you figured, right? He's beat up, he's hurt, he's not ready to play at that level. And when he is, he might. And that's kind of what that is. But that was just reaffirmation. So, all right, when we get back, wrap it up. What you got to know as you go through your day. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66, Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired out.
610, the sports animal.
All right, you get hoops tonight. You get Philly and Charlotte if you want it. San Antonio and Phoenix. Golden State and Denver, JJ. LA's rethinking LeBron playing 82 games. He's slumping. He wants to play all 82. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. What do you got to know as you go through your day? Big news this morning out of the NHL, the NFL. Azeez Al-Shaair, the linebacker for the Houston Texans, has been suspended for 3 games by the league for his hit on Trevor Lawrence over the weekend. So he will appeal that, but 3 games, a repeat offender. Broncos beat the Browns last night, 41-32. Is that right? 40. Every time I look at that, 41-32. It's like that was a Broncos game. Jameis Winston set all kinds of records in the loss. Second most ever. That's not a record for Monday Night Football, but most ever for a guy who threw 2 pick sixes. That was 497 yards. He threw 4 interceptions. Jerry Jeudy came back against his former team, caught 9 passes for 235 yards and a touchdown, and lost. Because Bo Nix went for 294, and Jaleel McLaughlin's running the ball, JJ. 14 carries, 84 yards is the Broncos win.
That's 30 straight games. The Broncos have not had a single player rush for 100 yards.
Is that right? That's insanity. It's almost impossible. Yeah, that's something. And Chris McCaffrey on injured reserve. There's a story in the Deseret News out of Salt Lake City, out of Utah, that says that Bronco Mendenhall, the local football coach, is the leading candidate as of yesterday for the Utah State job. Broncos are scheduled to talk at 11:30 today. Football Scoop is reporting that as well. So for whatever that's worth to you. All right, 505-246-0610. Terry, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, JJ. The world travelers back home from Hawaii. JJ, hope you had a wonderful trip. Jeff, happy for you getting to watch the Michigan game with Addie. When something goes well with, especially with a child, it's like sports on steroids. So that had to be a great day for you guys getting to share that moment. My thing is UCLA basketball right now being 16th in the net. I thought maybe they're going to work on the net. So I went up and looked at their schedule, and I guess they're still rewarding if you play School for the Short or Eastern Northern School for the Heart of eyesight. They're beating teams by 40, but they haven't played anybody. So,
they played New Mexico.
Good for them. I hope other teams do well. It will help the Lobos if they have a higher net. But that was one where I was going, how do you get there without doing anything?
That's so fair.
And tonight, I just wonder what rules they'll use tonight, figuring out the top 12 for the football playoffs. Is it going to be strength of schedule? Is it going to be the eyesight? Is it whatever? I'm sure they'll manipulate it, and somewhere along the line, I'm sure Alabama will get in there.
I think Alabama's going to be the last one in. It's going to come down to like Alabama and Ole Miss and Miami, I think, for that last slot. And I think Alabama's going to get in.
Yeah. So we'll see tonight, and glad there's at least 12 teams getting a chance and all that. So, all right, you guys have a great day. Take care.
Later. UCLA is such a great. JJ's they're 6-1. They lost to New Mexico. They beat Rider, Boston U, Lehigh, Idaho State, Cal State Fullerton, and Southern Utah. Help me make sense of that.
I can't. No one understands it. Not even the coaches.
Now, coming up, they're getting Washington and Oregon and Arizona, North Carolina, Gonzaga. I know this is gospel and you're supposed to bow down to the almighty net because, you put all the information in the computer. That's more boggling to me than Utah State is. They played one good team and they got beat. Rider, Boston U, Lehigh, Idaho State, Fullerton, and Southern Utah. If Lobo basketball played that schedule, people around here would be screaming. Now, again, it gets tougher. They got 2 league games coming up this week. Tomorrow they play Washington, then they go to Oregon. And then they step out of league, they get Arizona, and they get North Carolina, and they get Gonzaga. So it will get legit. But with all due respect, how do you know how good they are? You'll find out. All right. When's your next game? This weekend against New Mexico State, Lobo women?
Friday night.
Yeah, Friday. So Lobo women. So this could be an interesting day. Bronco Mendenhall scheduled to speak today, and so is Richard Pitino. So we'll see what they say regarding the stories that are swirling around both those programs. And we'll get there. This is Saquon for MVP. I'm not arguing with you. I look, Saquon's making as good a statement for MVP as anybody. Who's your MVP right now? Because I might lean that way.
Saquon has to be on the list because it's a team that the second half of last year, they were a disaster. They were a mess. Yes, they're a good offense, but look at what they are now with Saquon Barkley. It's a potential record-setting year for Saquon. I know quarterbacks have the most value in that league, so it's going to be a quarterback conversation. But I'm having a debate. I'm putting Saquon on the back end of that list and saying, all right, how does he stack up against Josh Allen? Because I don't think Jared Goff's an MVP. It's on the potentially the best football team.
I don't think Lamar's an MVP.
Don't think Lamar's in that conversation. Yeah, he's got the numbers, but still, you got to back it up with some of the dubs to be in the MVP conversation. I really think right now it's, Josh Allen and Saquon Barkley are two really good people to put head to head.
Yeah, I would have those as my 2 favorites too. And I don't have a problem with Saquon getting it. And I wonder if there'll be quarterback fatigue. I think there will be Lamar fatigue, but I think Lamar's kind of playing his way out of it. Look, the more losses they stack up, like it's. Would you tell me earlier? You got to win games, right?
Yeah, it's Joe Burrow, right? He's fantastic numbers, not winning. So, even with Lamar Jackson, they're not a bad football team, but being in the MVP discussion, I think there will be some fatigue. It's just the way it is.
What did I get this weekend? Because there's. Did you tell me Browns Steelers? Is that what's coming up this weekend?
One of the games.
Packers Lions on Thursday is really good. Falcons Vikings gets interesting because at some point Falcons better win a game.
Or we may see Cousins threw 4 interceptions.
We may see Michael Penix soon. Browns Steelers is good. Seahawks Cardinals is big. Bills Rams coming off the big win for the Bills. They go across the country. I mean, can they play in good weather? Can they play in a controlled climate? How are they going to be in the sunshine of Los Angeles? I'm kidding. Chargers Chiefs Bengals Cowboys is Monday night. Chargers Chiefs is sneaky good. Chiefs might get beat here.
So Monday Night Football.
Yes.
they're doing an alternate broadcast.
Yeah.
With Simpsons characters, and that's probably the only way to watch that game on Monday Night Football.
Bengals and Cowboys. Thank you to Kenny Thomas, former Lobo great, was with us. Thank you to Tony Sanchez, New Mexico State's football coach. If you missed that, really good conversation with Tony this morning. It's available over on our website, sportsanimalabq.com, and click on the opening drive. Giving Tuesday, we encourage you to give. Charlie5.org is a good spot. Go check them out. Adrian, great work. Big day for you.
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On's here at 4. We're back tomorrow morning with award-winning radio. We will begin at 7 a.m. Be good to each other, please. Have a great day. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. Smell you later.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families.